Hey guys, it's OCB Communications, and this is my review of Drop Dead Fred. I consider it being introduced on crack. It's got stars Phoebe Cates, Rick Mayall, and this is a movie that at first I was just like, God, this character is annoying as fuck, shut up. But then the movie became a sort of deep and uplifting experience. The movie starts out with Phoebe Cates, I believe. There's a younger girl playing the young Phoebe Cates, and her mother is overprotective and has her basically living in some world where she's got her under her thumb. She grows up and also has one of the most inane and disturbing opening credit sequences I've ever seen. The Jong is a weird guy. The director at the Jong. So basically, you see Phoebe Cates all grown up. She wears the same clothes she wore as a little girl, but as an adult with long hair, and looks really childish and not mature at all because her mother's just kept her the way that she remembered her, all precious and cute. She got engaged and married to a sleazeball car salesman played by Matheson. And in the span of one day, horrible shit happened to her. She gets her car broken into and stolen. Her purse is stolen. Her car is broken into and stolen. And she gets fired from her job all in one day. And, top it all off, Tim Matheson breaks up with her. Wow! That's a bad day. So, then she ends up moving in back with her mother, played by Marsha Mason. And her brother's just the same way. She's got this she's still kept her room just the way it was. Ugly ass, fucking pink everywhere. Just like, gag me. And that's when she ends up finding a box. She takes the tape off it and some ring ball comes out and it's Fred. Played by Rick Mayall. Crazy, weird, over the top. Well, what do I get to do now? Hey, remember what you did with dollies? Where are the dollies? Where are the toys? Where's the fire truck? Remember when I used to pull the arms off the dollies? Where are all the toys? They're grown up, snot face. So he ends up doing crazy shit, like going out in the backyard, getting dog poop on his shoes, going back. Marsha Mason has this carpet, and it's in the living room, and she has this sign that says "Do not cross" or whatever, and he just gets over there and starts pounding on dog poop everywhere. Dog poop on the chair, dog poop on the floor, dog poop everywhere, poo 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 poo. Annoying. Just like, want to take a baseball bat and like, hey Fred, heads up. But after that, she thinks she's going. She ends up taking advice from her friend Carrie Fisher. Damn, I'm gonna be honest. Carrie Fisher is the hottest she's been since Return of the Jedi. In this one with short hair and wearing pretty revealing skirts and the top showing off her assets. And never thought Carrie Fisher was that hot, but she's pretty cute in this one. Just older, so it's like MILF. No. So basically what happens is her mother takes her in and even buys her new clothes and gets a makeover and makes her look like her. Same blazer, same shirt, same hair. So Drop Dead Fred does weird shit. He cuts her hair in her sleep, makes her do all these crazy things. All she wants to do is get rid of him. He's like, fine, I'll get out. I'll never see me again. And then he gets hit by a fire truck. She's like, Fred, I didn't mean it. And then, then the film, of course, you're like, oh God, this guy is annoying. But he's annoying for a reason. This is a character that kids would love to be around. So basically, there's a funny sequence where she's meeting up with an old friend at a dinner. At a fancy restaurant, and Fred's causing her to do all these weird things, shake the water and throw it over her shoulder, And of course, Phoebe Cates is good acting. There's like, what? And then throwing the plate in the air, and then the guy said, "This is fun. You're great." He throws things and like, "This is fun. Hey, ah, God!" Throwing spaghetti on people and shit. That was fun. That was wonderful. Of course, she still got this thing. I'm gonna get back together with Tim Matheson. So she ends up spending the night at her. She doesn't want to go back to her mother's house because Fred is there. She thinks she'll go somewhere else. Fred won't be there. She goes to Carrie Fisher's houseboat where she's living in with one of her coworkers. Of course, Fred shows up in a pirate outfit and is like, "What are you doing, snotface? Let's pay pirates." And, you know, all this crap happens. It's like, "I'll fix the ship starts to take in water. I'll fix it." It takes a wrench and just breaks all these instruments. So he sinks Carrie Fisher's house. It isn't even really her houseboat. It is her houseboat, actually. It's Carrie Fisher's houseboat. The guy just comes in now and then. So he sinks her houseboat. Then, of course, Phoebe Cates, soaking wet, goes up, tells her about the houseboat. And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Drop Dead Fred did it. It was just Drop Dead Fred. You can't see him. He's right there. He's over sitting in the chair in the meeting doing stuff. Oh, look at here." And hilarious thing was she grabs the chair. She thinks she's got him and throws the chair out into "I'll be right back," into the meeting. And she looks at Phoebe Cates and Drop Dead Fred is standing right next to her. And she's like, "Do I got him?" And then he just goes, "Ah." She was like, "Damn it!" Starts hitting, just beating in the midair, and just takes him on the ground and starts pounding on nothing. And that's for sinking the houseboat. And that's for all the gifts that Dennis gives me while his ex-wife is away. And then Dennis comes out the door. Oh, sorry. Then you have the dinner sequence after that. And then she tries to get to Matheson back. Drop Dead Fred helps her out. Gets her all spiffed up and nice. And that's when things go wrong. He actually has this weird look where he's in a green suit with this curly Q haircut, and then does the whole Tex Avery thing where he slides underneath some girl's skirt and goes, "Wow!" So things go wrong there. She's deemed insane because it's a funny sequence because Therapist Fred is doing this violin thing, and she thought he was going away. She told him to go away. He's playing the violin, and she goes and grabs the violin and starts breaking the violin in the middle of public in a mall, and she gets taken away back to her mother's house where she has her under house arrest with some big burly giant lady. So you have that happen, and then she's forced to take these pills, I guess. These green pills. Take her to the psychiatrist's office. Clever sequence, because then there's all these other imaginary friends. "Hey, Fred!" And they're playing around. And so it's like, don't let her, whatever you do, don't let her take the green ones. What? That's what happened to silly Larry. Oh, my. So basically what happens, I think, if Kate takes all the green pills, then something goes on in her mind. The part that the imagination, the imagination part just gets shut off, I guess. Which isn't good. So she ends up getting back with Tim Matheson, and all the while he's cheating on her with some girl named Annabella, and only Fred knows about it. Fred is hurting though. He's all in pain because she's taking these pills and trying to phase him out. And she won't listen to him. She's making salad for Tim Matheson and Fred, and basically dying. He goes in and he looks across the room and he sees Tim Matheson talking to Annabella on the phone. Like, "Annabella, I'm your fella." So he tells her, "Stop, face. It's cheating on you. It's cheating on you." She goes over there, hears it, and then Fred takes her to this magical place. I guess takes her to the place where, imaginary friends come from. So also before this, you have you find a revelation to how important Drop Dead Fred was to Phoebe Cates' character. How important he was to her. Because Elizabeth, how important he is to Elizabeth's life. Because when she was a kid, she did all these things with Drop Dead Fred. Silly shit like, Fred, let's play bank robbers, and then rob their own house. The point where her father almost gets arrested by the cops for robbing his own house. And, you know, making a mud pie. And the last straw, and this is really sad. The last straw was when a little girl, young Elizabeth, listened to Fred and took Mom's china out and made a giant mud pie on it and threw cornflakes on it and orange juice. She had the last straw. And she said, no, Drop Dead Fred did it. It's like, no more Drop Dead Fred. And Drop Dead Fred at that point hid in the little Jack-in-the-Box thing. She grabs the box, no. And the husband is like, come on. You know, she's just a kid. She's not a kid. It's Drop Dead Fred is nothing. She's just a kid. She's only 8. And then, you know, she ends up taping the box. And that is the same day that her father left her. So because her mother's such a bitch and wants to have control and really can't take her daughter acting out and being abnormal, she basically ruins things for her daughter. She takes away Drop Dead Fred and at the same time sends her father away from her. That's really sad. And that makes the movie a little bit more than just a silly comedy. It has a certain... It's kind of deep. And then when she ends up going to the imaginary world. Fred has this thing set up for her. Tim Matheson's red car. Come on, baby, let's go. And he basically sets up something so she can face her fears. And she takes a pin and pops his car, and he flies away. You know, she goes up these stairs, and there's a tree that comes up, and then she goes up the tree, and then out the door, and here's her mother. You're not going anywhere. I warned you. You're not. Just stuff like that. And then she makes her burn away into nothing. She walks out the door. And then she has this poignant moment with Fred, and he's like, you know, you're coming with me, right? And he's like, no, I can't. So he sends her back into the world with a new sense of, you know, self-worth. You know, to feel self-esteem, to feel good about herself, because after what her mother's put her through, she basically tells her mother to screw herself, gets out the door, goes to Tim Matheson, you know, before that, Tim Matheson, she goes over there, she dumps the salad on his face, takes the booger out of her nose and just slams it on his face, and then gets in the car and drives away, goes to her mother's house and tells her, I'm not coming back. And then she gets up with the friend that she used to play with as a kid, the guy who she met at the restaurant. He's like, "Hey, this is fun!" Throwing dishes around. I thought they were a perfect couple, too. So they get together, and he actually has a niece, I think, and there's a babysitter running out of the house in terror. Oh, God, your kid is too crazy. And find out that she has a friend. She's a friend with Drop Dead Fred, too, because he likes to hold people with pinkies, you know, pinky thing like this. And she's doing all acting out and doing crazy shit. And then, but this time, Phoebe Cates, Elizabeth, and her friend, her new boyfriend, you know, they can have a newfound sense of, she can know what not to do this time around and really help this kid. So also when I think about it, you know, this film sort of, these kids might be autistic or something, or have, you know, something going on, and the best way for them to act out, you know, is to do things that honestly are relatively harmless. So what? You have to clean it up. Whatever. They're kids. They're not, you know, let's not try to pattern our kids and make them, you know, mindless robots. Please. That's what this movie, I think, it's a deeper film than just a stupid, silly comedy, because you get down to it, it really all it wants you to do is be yourself. Be who you are, no matter what anybody says. Don't let anybody don't be afraid of nobody. Don't be afraid of your parents. Don't be afraid of your boss. Don't be afraid. Don't be pressured into anything you don't want to do. Or don't be anybody you don't want to be. And if you're normal, so what? So what if people think you're weird or you're strange or you're not the norm? It doesn't matter, because that's what makes you who you are. And I'll be damned if I lose that in my, in my life. I'll be weird. I'll be like, hey, I don't care, If people think I'm weird going around singing my songs when I'm walking around the town, fine. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what they think. I really don't. Because I am sure of myself. I feel good about who I am. And gosh darn it, people like me. No, sorry. But Drop Dead Fred does that. It inspired me, and at a time when I was feeling kind of down the dumps, it was pretty soon after I got turned down from the movie theater. I watched this movie and I realized, hey, no, what? No. I am a good person. I have great potential, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing no matter what. I am who I am, and that's it. If I'll be weird and dance around like an idiot, doesn't matter, fine. It's who I am. And also inspired me not to lose that sense of imagination, that sense of wonder, that sense of play. Don't lose that when you grow up. That's one thing I don't, like Peter Pan, Hook, I never want to grow up. Now, grow up, mature, but mature on your own time. Don't mature, because someone else wants you to mature really quickly and be the doctor or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you have a family like that's got you predetermined to be a doctor or some banker, it doesn't matter. So what? We'll cut you off, whatever. Do what you need to do to make you happy. Don't do something that isn't you. Don't go around and do a career that isn't what you want to do or who you are if you have any choice. And don't do something just because your parents say you have to do it. Because you're part of this tradition. All of our family members, we've all been doctors, so you're going to be a doctor. No, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm going to be someone else. I'm going to be a movie director. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be a singer. Screw doctors. And they'd be like, well, you have no idea what you're doing. That's the whole thing. Be an individual. Don't be just part of the pack. So, that's what I think this movie is talking about. And, I'm about to bitch slap a cat. Get the fuck off the counter. You're not supposed to be in the kitchen. You think you can get away with that? Next time I got a bottle of water with your name on it. You saw that, right? So anyway, that's what I'm saying. That's what Drop Dead Fred is. I'm not afraid to say when I was a kid, I didn't have that many friends, so I played games with myself. I'd go around and I'd play movies that'd be like Star Trek. I'd have a little dart gun. I'd be like Captain Kirk and fighting Klingons and shit. Play with my action figures. I'd use my imagination. I didn't have spaceships, so I'd use a shoe. And I'd tie the bad guys up in a shoelace and fly them around and throw them into things. And Mom would call it swishing or whatever. And I'd go in and reenact movies. And if I'm really bored, I still do that. You know why? Because it sparks that imagination. It keeps that going. Sometimes, when I think of tributes I want to do, music videos, I'm listening to a song in an MP3 player. And then when I think, I take footage from a movie I just saw or one of my favorite films, a movie where I think music will work to. And I put the footage in my head, and I have the music in my ears, and I put the footage in my head, and I put it together up here. And I'm like, wow, that would be awesome. Back in the Saddle by Aerosmith with Young Guns. That'll work perfectly. And then I just do it. That's my imagination. That's using your imagination. Don't be afraid to do that. And that's what don't just be a normal, whatever, run-of-the-mill adult. Adult is just a word to me. And society is also a word too. Well, you have to be a respectable member of society. Society is just a word. And society is also a movie. So society is just a damn word. Screw your manners, screw your little tiny fucking forks, it doesn't matter. Okay? I am who I am, and that doesn't change that. That's what I like about Drop Dead Fred. It inspires that. Be who you are. Don't be who you're not. You know, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go out of the box and you know, do those things that you like to do. Whether it be make silly voices or do weird things. It's who you are. You know, if that's what makes you happy, then do it. That's really the main focus of that film, in my opinion. And that's why I really like the film. So I'll give it 3.5 stars. I think it's a better film than Hook. Hook gets the point across, what I was saying before, but Drop Dead Fred does it in a way that is sort of unforgettable, in my opinion. So it came along at the perfect time in my life, so it really did make me feel better. So, you know, sometimes you can get enjoyment and uplifted by the strangest of things. And Drop Dead Fred was a movie that did that for me about a little while ago. So that's all I can say about Drop Dead Fred. And seriously, guys, I hope you take to heart what I'm talking about. And if not, fine. You know, it's your choice. But anyway, maybe that top ramen's starting to back up a little bit. Probably shouldn't eat a French toast muffin afterwards. Probably not a good combination. Soup and muffin. Just, you know, just be like, but anyway, no. Anyway, thanks for watching my review of Drop Dead Fred, and I'll check you later.